talk about your retrieve a little bit?
Yeah. So there's a few different ways to fish a red-eye shad on the Mississippi River. One of them is just a standard straight retrieve, not doing much to it, and they'll knock the crud out of it when you're doing it that way sometimes. But my favorite way to retrieve this bait on sand flats is a yo-yo style retrieve. I keep the rod tip up in the air, and right now my bait's fouled up, so this is a bad example, but I'll keep the rod tip high, and I use the rod to do most of the work, and then I'm just picking up the slack with the reel. And they'll hit it most often times when you drop that rod tip down and let it go slack. That bait's falling on a semi-slack line, and it's just got a nice shimmy as it goes down, and they'll just hammer it. I mean, when you get around these shad, that's really what it takes to get them to bite, is an erratic action. This also, the nice thing about fishing it this way is if I get a little bit of grass on the bait, a lot of times I'm popping it off the grass accidentally, you know, I'm not even trying to get it off the grass. So if there is a little piece of grass in my bait, it's just coming free, and I'm always doing something to change it up in front of a fish's face. You got to pretend, when you're fishing a bait like this, you got to pretend that there's a fish behind it at all times. And what are you actively doing to get that fish to eat your bait? Sometimes you don't have to do anything, but more often than not, there's some sort of little cadence that's going to trigger that fish to bite.
You ever just dead stop it, kill it sometimes, or no?
Sometimes, yeah. I mean, especially on the drops that are a little bit deeper, like this one here, we're only in 4 or 5 foot of water off the back side of this. Yeah. But some of these drops will fall into 10, 12 foot of water real quick, and that's when I might kill it and let it really just work down that drop and see if I can pick up a fish that's inactive hanging down the drop a little bit further.
Then you on the slack line?
Yeah, a semi-slack line. And what I mean by that is I'm just keeping a slight bow in the line, so if a fish hits it, I'm still gonna feel that strike, but it's slack enough to let the bait do a more natural fall.